What's up, everyone? It's Cannan, and today is Sunday, February 11th, and this is the Sunday before the week that we learn the fate and future of Xbox, and in a way, Microsoft going forward as far as video games go. Now, of course, I've already done a video of my initial reaction to the rumors that pretty much started this past week of Xbox going third party. Now, there's been a lot going on. I really wish Microsoft had just went ahead and said something instead of waiting a week, because it's caused a lot of fighting. It's caused a lot of Xbox fan revolts. It's caused them to fight against each other. You've got people going out and selling their Xboxes and all their games, which is kind of funny, because if this all turns out to be untrue, they just sold their system and all their games for nothing. Anyway, now, of course, this is not the first time something like this has happened. If it does happen, if anyone remembers, is old enough to remember, Sega used to put out their own systems. I remember having a Sega Genesis. Never got a Dreamcast, though, and that was Sony. That was Sega's last console, the Sega Dreamcast, and they pretty much became a third-party developer. That's why you see Sonic on Xbox, on PlayStation, on Nintendo, why Sonic is in Super Smash Brothers and all that. So this would not be the first time this has ever happened. And really, if you ask me, just looking at sales, looking at just where everything is right now, despite Microsoft having more money than possibly Nintendo and Sony combined, if any of them were going to drop out of making consoles and just make video games, Xbox would probably be the first one to drop out. And it's really funny that during all of this, a recent article came out showing just how much that the PS5 is selling compared to the Xbox Series X and S. I believe it said that they were outselling them 2-1. So it's kind of funny that that comes out leading up to whenever the business event is this week. We don't know. Everyone's assuming Monday, but who knows? And there's a lot of people that's hoping that this business event is just them to dispel this rumor, but why wouldn't they just go ahead? Like, they could literally just release a statement and say, no, this isn't true. We don't know where it came from, instead of moving a business event that was supposed to take place at the end of this month and fast forward it to this week. And who knows? It could be other things. It could be they're just wanting to bring certain games to other platforms to make more money, but they're still going to make systems. And apparently, Phil Spencer has told the Xbox crew that they are going to be making more Xboxes. But then there's other reports coming out that this could potentially be the last Xbox ever manufactured. So there's reports coming in one right after the other, and then you have the fan base. One side, you've got a small percentage that are okay with this, then you've got the ones that are outraged, and then you got the ones who are just telling themselves nothing's going to happen, that it's all fake, and all that. But we don't know. Anyone can claim to have inside sources, and I think something is definitely happening. I think something is definitely changing. And you know, I've made no ands, ifs, or buts that Xbox is my least favorite gaming platform. I had the original Xbox. I got it for Fable. And really didn't have an opinion on Xbox at the time. You know, I had all three. I had the PS2, had the Xbox, and I had the GameCube. Same thing with the next generation. I had a PS3, I had a Wii, and I had a 360. But the biggest reason why I bought a 360 was because the game reader, the disc reader in my PS3 burnt out, and it just took me a while to get it fixed. So I went to the 360. And, I'm kind of thankful for that, because if I had not made that temporary switch until my PS3 got fixed, I wouldn't have played what would eventually become one of my favorite games and favorite video game series of all time, and that'd be Mass Effect, because the original Mass Effect was an Xbox exclusive. Well, Microsoft exclusive. You could play it on PC as well. And I think that right there is one big problem that I think a lot of people have been ignoring. Not everyone. There's a lot of people that have pointed out that, Microsoft has got the money to put the hardware out. Even though at their core they are a software developer, not a hardware developer. And I think that's one of the reasons why, if this does happen, that's why it's happening. And, but yet they've lacked in actually pumping games out. They keep on pushing things back. It's like, 2024 will be the year of Xbox. 2025 will be the year of Xbox. They've done it consistently, and they've not been able to really put out a game that moves the needle. The first Halo, okay, it moved the needle, okay? But they've never, it seems like, maybe the first Gears of War did as well. But it's almost like, since the 360 generation, they've not really capitalized on anything. Now, of course, a lot of people will say the Xbox One was dead on arrival because of that awful E3 reveal, and I will admit that was when I finally said no to Microsoft, is when that was revealed, when it said, you've got to always be online. And at that time, I didn't have the internet to do that. So I was like, no, there's no point in me getting this thing. I wouldn't be able to use it anyway. And even though they changed it, it was the fact that they were going to do it in the first place. And even to this day, the Xbox Series X, you still have to have internet to play it. You have got to at least connect it to the internet once on startup. And if I still didn't have internet, I wouldn't be able to use it. It would be a paperweight. And so that's why I kind of just decided to stay away from Xbox. And besides the Fable series, there was nothing really else they had for me that I couldn't play elsewhere. So their other problem was, of course, is that really there's no such thing as Xbox console exclusives. They're all on PC, and if you have a PC, all you need to play everything is that plus a PS5 and a Switch, and you're all good to go. If there were actually legit Xbox exclusives that you could only play them on that console, I think they would sell a lot more hardware. I know a lot of people don't like exclusives. A lot of people see them as anti-consumer, and I can see that. Not everybody has the money to buy all three systems. But if you don't give a reason for someone to buy it, no one's going to spend that much money. If there was nothing on the PlayStation 5 that did not interest me, I wouldn't have spent $500 on it. I wouldn't have spent an extra $500 getting Jess one. So that's the thing. If it has games you enjoy that you can only play on that system, people will buy them. People do it for Nintendo every generation. You can only play Nintendo games on the Nintendo system they come out on. Well, if you're a Mario, Zelda, and all their IPs fan, there are third-party games that come out on it as well. But if you love Mario, if you love Zelda, if you love Donkey Kong, if you love Metroid, all that stuff, if you love Super Smash Brothers, no matter what Nintendo does, no matter that they don't preserve their gaming history, and they're very quick to send cease and desist. Yes, they do a lot of stupid things. Hardcore Nintendo fans will buy that system because they know it's the only place they can play their favorite game series. And Sony, in a way, is the same way. You've got God of War, you've got the Horizon series, you've got Spider-Man, you've got all those that, yes, they've been porting their exclusives to PC as well. besides Bloodborne. But it's still, you have to wait at least a year or so before those will launch. But it still gives people an incentive to buy a PS5, which really, in this day and age, is actually cheaper in a lot of ways than buying a PC. So yes, they will go for it. Xbox has never really succeeded in getting people to do that. Only ones that have been doing it are people who just like the brand and the ecosystem, who love Game Pass, but maybe they don't have a PC. Now, of course, there's a lot of people who have a PC and also an Xbox, but Microsoft have dug themselves into a hole so much that sadly it seems like only the Xbox team cares about. As I said in my other video, I do really believe that the people on the top, like, yes, I know he's no longer the CEO of Microsoft, but Bill Gates level executives do not care about the Xbox. They probably see it as a waste, and it was probably them that said, hey, you're putting your games on other systems, and it's up in the air if we're going to allow you to make another Xbox. Now, I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying, hopefully they'll see the backlash and all that, and really, besides just a core group, there's not that much backlash, really. I've only seen one instance of someone selling their system. I've seen one instance of someone claiming they busted up their Xbox, which who knows if that was a real picture or not. But other than that, just, people saying how they feel cheated, how they feel betrayed. But who knows if this was something that Phil Spencer was forced into? Because a lot of people, I don't pay attention that much to Phil Spencer since I'm not an Xbox guy. But apparently people see him as a gamer himself, that he's one of us and all that. I don't know. Phil Spencer is more than likely still a corporate guy through and through. And it's a shame because I worry for the people who work under the Xbox team, because I'm sure there's a lot of people, if these rumors turn out to be true, are worried for their jobs, especially the ones that build the system. But what is going to happen if this is true? Well, there's multiple things. And there's different, like there's an A, B, C, D, kind of like multiple choice of what could possibly happen. So let's throw out that this is fake. Let's keep in the, tomorrow they're going to announce that some games are coming to PlayStation and Switch and stuff like that. So let's talk about Xbox going completely third party. So this falls in line with the Microsoft higher-ups not seeing the Xbox viable as a console. Yeah, we may have one more, but it'll be digital only. And then eventually Microsoft is just going to stick with what they know best, which is a software company. And so, yeah, there will not be any more Xbox consoles, but there will be Xbox published games. Now, I don't know if it'll say Xbox or if it'll say Microsoft, but and pretty much, they'll just be games that come out on the PlayStation, the PC, and the Switch. I mean, that's basically what would happen. Now, of course, if there is another Xbox, it'll be like a slow they'll integrate it slowly. And like, you could have games come out for the Xbox and PC first, and then 6 months to a year will come out for PlayStation and Switch. Now, then there's also the choice of, it may not be every game. It may just be Starfield. It might just be Sea of Thieves, the Gears of War series. But then when Fable comes out, it's only on Xbox and PC. They could go that route. Or it's just going to be business as usual, and just a handful of games are coming to PlayStation 5 and Switch. I mean, that's all it could be. We won't know until the event happens. And like I said, I don't know if I've seen anywhere that it said that it's going to be definitely on Monday. I've seen a lot of people talk as if it is going to be on Monday. So I wanted to get this up before Monday happens. But it's a wild time, and I'm not going to sit here and make fun of Xbox fans like others have, because I know how I would feel, I guess. Like, I wouldn't lose sleep over it. I wouldn't sit in the car and cry. But it would be a bummer. But then again, I really don't care what game you play on what plastic box. I don't care if Spider Man or God of War or any of those ended up on another system. As long as I'm playing the games that I love and I enjoy, what does it matter to me who's playing it on what plastic box? Um, so like to me, like, would I consider myself a PlayStation guy? Yes, but I'm also a Nintendo guy. Um, Xbox just does not have anything for me, and really, like I said, besides Halo, Gears of War, Forza, and things like that, they don't really have an established brand in a way as far as what kind of games they put out. Their games have been so random. Like, Redfall was a complete disaster, but it looks like a game that you could have played anywhere else. Like, it didn't scream Microsoft to me. I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point, but it's wild because I remember when Sega imploded and the Dreamcast was it. But then again, the internet was still in its infancy, so you don't really remember a lot of people talking about it. It just happened. But now with the internet in full flux, you're seeing like people already comparing the Xbox to the Dreamcast. And I don't know. Like, for me, it's just like for a lot of other people who've said they kind of saw this coming, just because for 2 generations straight. Um, and this goes into this next point. Everyone is saying, if Sony doesn't have competition, blah, 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 and all that. Well, for one, the gaming world existed before Xbox. It'll still exist after Xbox if this does happen. But technically, if you want to look at it this way, Xbox hasn't really been competition for Sony in 2 generations. They really weren't a competition in the first generation. The only generation they were close competition was the PS3 and 360. And the PS3 still came back at the last moment and won. So I want to think that no matter what happens, both Sony and Nintendo will continue to innovate. And that's if this happens. Who knows? If there's another Xbox after this and then there's no more, then I hope it is a smooth and simple transition. I hope not a lot of people. I hope people don't lose their jobs over this. Hopefully, they can be moved to other parts of Microsoft. But then there's also talk of a Microsoft handheld coming. So who knows what's really going to happen at this point. Like I said, they may still keep their hardware, but just release their games and everything else. But then again, there's the argument that makes buying their system pointless. But really, I just don't think Microsoft cares about that. What they care about is making money from the games. And a lot of people are talking about, well, if they were going to do this, why'd they bother making all those acquisitions? Well, it's because they can make all the money they want off those acquisitions. Now, of course, they need to work on their time frame on getting them out, because that's another problem Xbox has been having. They promise all these great games and then take forever to put them out, where Nintendo and Sony have a pretty good schedule of getting constant good games out. So that's another thing they've got to keep up on is game production, but also keeping them, like, the quality of them up good. That's another thing Xbox has been struggling on, is their timing and their quality. So if they stay in the console business, they've got a lot of work to do. And if not, it's going to be interesting to see the years to come. Now, personally, will I play any of the games? I mean, Sea of Thieves looks fun. I've watched other people play it online, and it does look like a lot of fun, so maybe. Despite its reviews, I would give Starfield a play. I was going to play it on PC after I got my PC updated, but if I can get it on PlayStation, that's a little bit better. hopefully the next Fable is on PS5, but if it's only on Xbox and PC, I'll play it on PC. That's one good thing about having this machinery in front of me, is that if I don't want to get an Xbox or can't get an Xbox by then, I can play it on this. I just have to buy the parts for it. But that's all I want to talk about, because this is potentially a huge moment in gaming history. You don't really see these happen all that much. And yeah, that's my little rambling video today. I hope y'all enjoyed it. So we've mostly got all of our notes ready for the Bumblebee live stream. That'll happen later this month. So that's almost good to go. I got me a new Switch because the system that I had was a base model that I got at launch, and it finally crapped out on me. So I got the white OLED version. Yes, I know Switch 2 is possibly coming out later this year, but I didn't want to wait. And so yeah, Switch games will be returning at some point. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Just please don't lose sleep over this. Just hope for the good, and hope nothing bad comes out of this. If Microsoft goes third party, we're just going to have to learn to accept it, because at the end of the day, the corporate suits are going to have their way, and they're not going to listen to us. Like, Microsoft is definitely one of those companies that no matter how much backlash they would get from this, they're not going to listen. I hate to be that negative, but it's the writing's on the wall, sadly, and we're just going to see how it goes. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, click that like button, leave a comment. We're getting very close to 800 subscribers. As always, guys, this is Cannan. Me and Jess love you all very, very much. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.